All right, let's go ahead and open up the doors. It is straight up noon here in Pacific time, and my name is Becca Dukes. Thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc. As we're letting people in from the waiting room here in the Zoom room, you also are invited to join us Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:50 p.m. Pacific time. That's 1 o'clock Mountain, 2 o'clock Central, 3 o'clock Eastern. Join us at dailywithDocZoom.com. Now, folks, this program is being sponsored by dailywithdoc.com. This is a website that offers the good foods, bad foods list that you're going to hear about on today's program. It's also going to give information about Dr. Wallach on that page, myself, and the good pharmacist Ben Fuchs. And it also has a store that is available on that page. And one of the things that I like the best is there is a spot that says, what should I take? And it gives a description of our core foundation 90 essential nutrients page, plus the add-ons that make up the blood sugar pack, the digestion pack, the bone and joint pack, the athletic pack, the brain and heart pack. Folks, we make it simple. Now, if you've got some decline going on, what you're going to hear today with the questions and answers and Dr. Wallach's protocols that are going to be shared with the individuals who bring their questions to the table is going to be optimal for reaching your optimal best. We want to make sure that you got your digestion right, folks. So Dr. Wallach also includes that to help everybody looking for solutions to find that solution. And then we have a team that works with you to help you as well. If you were referred by somebody specific, that is going to be your point person, the person that you will get back with and say, thank you for sharing this program with me. And I need some help. What do I take? This is what's going on. Or if Dr. Wallach mentions your question here because you raised your hand in the Zoom room and asked your question, then make sure that you have that chat open, because Marilyn is going to be putting in dictation of what Doctor recommends for each person and each question that is brought up in the program. So you can take a screenshot or take a picture of that with your camera, take that to the coach that you are working with and say, this is what I need. And we try to make it as simple as possible for you. If there is nobody that you are working with, then please feel free to give our staff a call. We have an 800 number, 855-949-3377. And we also have email that if you go to our website, dailywithdoc.com, there is contact option in the menu. And you can send us an email if you prefer to do business through emails. So, folks, this program is for educational purposes only. It is not meant to take the place of your primary care physician, but nor are the products meant to diagnose, treat, cure any diseases. The FDA requires us to let you know this. And folks, everybody is an individual. Depending on where you are in your health, we determine how fast things are going to be working for you. So give your body what it needs, give it time to do what it needs to do with those raw ingredients, and you are going to get some positive results. Some faster than others, some it takes a little more time. And Dr. Wallach is going to be talking about that today. Now, folks, if you have never heard of Dr. Wallach, never met Dr. Wallach, you are in for a treat. The doctor that we have on Daily with Doc, he started out as a young boy with some issues himself. He paid attention to what was going on around him as a farm kid. He made changes with his own diet and was able to correct the negative things going on in his health. And then he used that kind of as a bouncing board. I think God used it actually as a bouncing board in the direction that his life was going to take him to help humanity. Now, he went into college, got a degree in agriculture of plant science and soils, went into become a doctor of veterinary medicine, where that took him around the world with one of his first discoveries as he was working in the pathology department. And the story just exploded from there, folks, as being one of the key individuals on that expedition to save the white rhino. He was a pathologist and veterinarian there. And, you know, animals just weren't quite enough. He wanted to help people too. So with his education, with being a pathologist and getting 3 postdoctorates in pathology, and then including humans into the autopsies, figuring out the commonalities between the two, when there was something missing, this disease was consistent. When there was a disease, something was consistent and missing. He put all those points together for us and was become one of the founding fathers of the science of epigenetics, which is the death of disease transmission when it comes to genetics, folks. Genetics, there are no genetic diseases. Are there birth defects? Yes, there's birth defects, but they're nutritional deficiencies. And I'm sure you're going to hear a little bit about that as well. Dr. Wallach has also taught nutrition at the college level before becoming a naturopathic physician, and now as a naturopathic physician licensed in many states, he continues his mission, and we are here as part of the crusade to get the information out that empowers you and communities around you as individuals to take a better journey on health. So there's multiple paths you can take. We're going to show you the path that has solutions rather than masking up the symptoms. So Dr. Wallach, thank you so much for being here with us on Daily with Doc. I had some questions in regards to the bone marrow and joint replacement. Do you have a little on that? Can you educate us a little bit on what happens to bone marrow and why joint replacements would be considered?
Okay, let's go back 3,000, 5,000 years ago when people used to make bone broth. Okay, had to make bone, but they made bone broth 3,000, 5,000 years ago. Everybody knew that bones were involved with structure, but some people figured out that there's some nutritional value in the bones. And so they'd eat all the meat off of it, whether it was chicken bones or beef bones or lamb bones or bones from ducks or fish or whatever. And then they would take the bones, and some of them would just put the bones in some water and simmer it all night and then drink the water the next day, and they got some benefit from it. Okay. And then other people, they would take a rock or a hammer and they break those bones so that there's more surface area exposed to the water in the pot, and they would simmer it and boil it low boiling all night, and they would drink it the next morning. And they were getting very special materials from the bone broth. Okay, these materials are nutrients that are required to build red blood cells, platelets, for preventing, bleeding to death. The oxygen would go into the red blood cells and go around the body and bring the oxygen around the body. So that was important. And then also the bone marrow would give up the white blood cells. The white blood cells were kind of like the guard dogs, and they would run around eating bad stuff, viruses, fungus, and yeast, and poisons, and so forth, to save the host. And let's see here. They would also, the bone marrow would give raw materials for the bones to make more bone marrow. Okay. There's a nutrition necessary to make more bone marrow. And the bone marrow was so important, and they knew it before there was microscopes. They didn't know exactly what all was there, but they knew there was something special about that bone marrow. Okay. Then let's see here. They also learned that they could take the bone marrow and make this soup out of it, and they could heal people who had diseases, pneumonia and skin problems and all kinds of other things. And they just didn't realize how important bone marrow was. Okay, it is a kind of like a liver. People don't realize the liver does 50 different things. The bone marrow does more than that. Does about 100 different things. Okay, so it's very, very important when it comes to your health and survival and protecting you against many, many bad things. Okay, and then of course we have the whole idea of the bone replacements. That came later on when surgery and anesthesia was developed, okay, in later years. And when surgery and anesthesia came along, if you had pain in your joint, so well, we just cut your joint out and put a artificial metal or rock ball in there instead of your cartilage and bone marrow. And so they would replace the good stuff with useless stuff, okay? But it's one of those things where it was a very, very poor choice, was to replace joints. It's better to rebuild them so that they could still do their purpose, okay? And this is what we've spent a long time. I've been doing this for 75 years, and we see this in animals on the farm. We see this in people like, let's see here, our great basketball player, Theo Ratliff. You know, this guy is 7 foot tall, and he's 24 years old, and they took his $35 million contract away from him because he had all kinds of stuff going on with his bones and his knees and his hips, and they wanted to do a double knee replacement. Now, when you take out the joint, the knee or the hip or the shoulder, you're taking out a big ball of bone marrow along with that bone and cartilage. Okay. And so there was a lot more going on behind the scenes than people knew when they got knee replacements and hip replacements and shoulder replacements. Well, fortunately, he didn't want to do that. And they took away his $35 million contract. And we met him, okay, because of that. And was able to come up with the healthy bone and joint pack. Okay, this was actually our healthy bone and joint pack. And it was actually just our basic program, okay, our healthy start pack. And then we invented collagen, okay. We came up with a collagen called, what's our collagen, the old one?
Glucogel.
Glucogel, there you go, glucogel. So we added glucogel to the plant, to the just the vitamins and minerals. We added the glucogel to it and made it the bone, okay, bone and joint pack, and regrew Theo Ratliff's joints. He came back, played professional basketball for 11 years, made $100 million. Okay, so that was a teaching thing for me and many other people, that you could regrow the cartilage, you could regrow the bone marrow and make it work. And so our goal is to prevent unnecessary joint replacements. Now, you know, on occasion this is necessary, but if it's unnecessary, it's better to use the healthy start pack and the glucogel, the healthy bone and joint pack, okay, and rebuild everything and take those nutrients every day for the rest of your life, whether you're a professional basketball player or just a mom and dad pushing the baby on the cart through the grocery store, okay? And so this is very, very important stuff. And you can save an enormous amount of unnecessary misery, save yourself a lot of money, add many healthful years to your life, because you want that bone marrow making the antibodies to protect you against viruses, bacteria, fungus, and yeast. You want that bone marrow to help you maintain things like platelets so you don't bleed to death. You want the bone marrow to be there because that helps make let's see here, red blood cells and get oxygen all around the body. Okay. And so people don't realize how important that bone marrow is. Okay. It's in there with the brain and the heart and the liver and the bone marrow. Okay. I put the bone marrow in there with those other major systems. And so this is something that you just have to deal with every day. You have to do it correctly. You want to watch things that will poison and kill the bone marrow. Excess alcohol. There's nothing wrong with having, a glass of wine with your dinner. It's that kind of thing. But you don't want to be drinking beer made from wheat every night, especially on Friday night when you got paid. Okay. And the gluten in the wheat that was used to make beer would cause problem because you couldn't absorb the nutrition. So the bone marrow suffered. Okay. So all these things kind of go together. And we were the ones that made all those observations. People were just treating symptoms with aspirin, that kind of stuff. And aspirin was good. I mean, pain would go away. But the problem would get worse and worse and worse and worse, and finally cost you either cut your leg off or you might die. Okay. Or because you didn't have any antibodies being made in the bone marrow. It's just something very simple. An infection would kill you. So this is something I cannot stress enough when it comes to the importance of the bone marrow. And then when they got the joint replacement system, they stopped making bone marrow soup and all that kind of stuff. And that's when we decided to come up with a bone marrow replacement. Okay, that's where the glucogel came from. Okay.
All right. So, Dr. Wallach,
Mm-hmm.
whenever you have joint replacement, and help us understand a little bit about the consistency of bone marrow. Is it solid? Is it liquid? What I know whenever I'm a farm kid. I know that whenever we put a beef in the freezer and we cut everything up, the bone marrow inside is solid. Is it solid whenever somebody's still alive also?
Oh, yeah, it has a lot of connective tissue in there, and all the cells that make the red blood cells and the white blood cells and the platelets and the antibodies are in that sort of web, okay, of connective tissue. Okay, otherwise it would all get down to one part of the bone, and the rest of the bone would be cavity would be empty. And so to equally distribute the bone marrow, so you get maximum function, the good Lord is very, very competent when it comes to these things. And when you look at the mechanics of bone marrow, not the actual function of bone marrow, but just the mechanics of bone marrow, being equally produced and given the raw materials through the blood supply, it can do its job. And in all bones in the body, whether it's the ribs, the jawbone, the skull, normal skull, and we're talking about the pelvis, the leg bones, the arm bones, the shoulders, shoulder blades, they all have bone marrow. Okay, so you think about the space in your body that's devoted to making red blood cells for oxygen transportation, for making platelets so they don't bleed to death, for making things like white blood cells to go kill viruses, bacteria, fungus, and yeast, and making antibodies so it can kill viruses, bacteria, fungus, and yeast. The bone marrow does an enormous amount of stuff. Okay, and so the good Lord was a great, great physiologist and made us to be able to not only survive, but to perform in a maximum way to, instead of live to be 25 years old, you live to be 125 years old.
So help me understand, how does the red blood cells, white blood cells get into the blood from the bone marrow?
Well, they go out from little arteries, and the little arteries have space in between the cells and the walls of the arteries. And so all these cells seep out through those cells in the arteries Okay, they get down into the capillaries, which are very thin walls. Okay, and it's very easy for the red blood cells, white blood cells, and the antibodies to get through the cells, which are just sort of joining together. They're not 18 on top of each other in the when you're out there at the ends of the capillaries.
So, so are there blood vessels that go into the bones?
Oh yes, the blood vessels that go into the bones come out of the heart and the aorta. It goes throughout the whole body. And not only do they carry blood and all the raw materials to make blood in the bone marrow, but also they're carrying oxygen, they're carrying food, they're carrying nutrients, vitamins and minerals to the whole body.
Okay. I'm trying to understand this, Dr. Wallach. Okay. It says, not all of us have the experience that you do when it comes to pathology and how everything looks within the body. We see pictures, we see the diagrams that basically show the major arteries that are coming in and out of the heart and through the
But then they
body.
get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. It's not the big arteries that release nutrients and oxygen into the bloodstream. It's the little capillaries that are sort of the end point of those arteries. Because as they get distance from the heart and the lungs, they get smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And that's when the nutrients and the oxygen and the white blood cells and the white blood cells primarily start leaking out between those cells and go and do their thing for the body.
And that is just another reason why circulation is so important,
That is
because of
correct.
those small capillaries pulling the blood or dispensing the blood all throughout the body.
It's
And
a
you have,
delivery system. It's a delivery system.
so then if the blood is not healthy and it's not getting to your extremities, that's going to be causing like discoloration of your toes, your feet,
Well,
your leg.
worse, you get gangrene. Your toes die, and then the doctors want to cut your toes off.
Well, there's a lot of people, Dr. Wallach, that reach out saying, hey, I've had to have the, certain toes removed already. How can I stop this from going on? And so is that more of a bone marrow issue, circulation issue? They're told that it's because they have blood sugar issues.
Okay. Well, they might have diabetes. Okay, but diabetes doesn't cause all these diseases that doctors are laying blame on diabetes for all these diseases. They don't know what else. They don't know anything about this subject. Okay. You ask a doctor, what's in when does the oxygen the blood vessels picked up in the lungs, when does the oxygen get released from the blood and the blood vessels in the body? At what point? Is it the arteries? Is it the veins? No, it's the capillaries.
Which totally makes sense whenever they got that O2 sensor on the end of your finger.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a dot connected for me. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Wallach. Now, our first question, Dr. Wallach, has to do with deteriorating discs. Carol is writing in. She wants to know what she needs to take to get rid of deteriorating discs, rebuild cartilage between the discs in her back. She says it's extremely painful, and they say there's nothing that can be done except major surgery. Now, Carol is 5'3", 120 pounds at 76, Dr. Wallach. And I know for personal experience, you do not have to be 76 or even in your upper years to have deteriorating discs. I was diagnosed with that at 30. So I know what you recommended for me. What would you recommend for Carol, Dr. Wallach?
Okay, it's Carol.
Yep.
Okay, well, Carol needs to get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no glutens, no wheat, no rye, oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet drinks and carbonated water need to go because they neutralize stomach acid, so you cannot absorb minerals or digest food. And then at 120 pounds, I wanted to have one healthy brain and heart pack per month, a half a dose of everything twice a day. I'd give her 2 bottles a month of the MSM, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. That's going to support and promote maintenance repair of cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, disc between vertebrae, bone makes bone itself, and bone marrow. Okay, also help rebuild bone marrow. All right. And then this includes the disc and so forth. So also they need the collagen peptides. Okay, collagen peptides, the glucogel, say 3 of those twice a day in her case. I would also have her take the, I said the glucogel, but I also want her to have the collagen peptides. I want her to take a scoop of that with her morning drink and a scoop of her evening drink. All right. And I want her to take vitamin D3, take 3 of those twice a day. That'll be 2 bottles a month because they're small bottles. And let's see here. For the pain, I want her to take the CM cream topically on her back, on her knees and hips and shoulders, wherever she has pain. It'll last for anywhere from 3 to 5 hours. So I may have to apply it 2, 3 times a day, okay, to be comfortable, okay. And it's one of those things where the body is dynamic. It's not poured concrete. People and doctors think your bones are poured concrete. They don't know that they come and go and come and go and come and go based on what you're eating, what not eating, and so forth. What activity you do and what activity you don't do, okay. And if you know a medical doctor looking at this case, they would say we need to call in a musician with a trombone because she's 76.
Oh, 76 trombones. You're funny, Doc.
Okay, that would be the medical treatment. See, and they're always talking about, okay, well, let's see if we can give you some pain relief, you like aspirin or some prescription drugs, and if that doesn't work, we'll do some surgery here, and you'll have to be in a wheelchair and all this kind of stuff. And they never really get to the basic root cause, which was eating gluten and not supplementing. Those two things together are very, very bad. Okay, not supplementing and eating gluten, because gluten prevents the absorption of nutrition, what may have been in the food. And there's usually not much in food other than some calories and protein and that kind of stuff. All right.
All right. Well,
So
thank you so much for that.
even at 76, she can repair all this within weeks.
And you had mentioned vitamin D, which leads me into the next question coming from Bruno. Bruno writes in, he says, my wife is 61, has low vitamin D levels. What my question, well, his question is, what can we do to improve that? But my question to you first, Dr. Wallach, is what is the importance of vitamin D?
Okay, well, vitamin D helps you absorb calcium and placement of calcium into your bones. Okay, that's a specific use your body has for vitamin D. And you can get some vitamin D from, getting out in your bathing suit and short sleeve shirts and shorts out in the sun. Get a sun bath, you'll get some vitamin D. It's one of the first things that they added to baby food before we sued them in federal court and had them add more. But before, in the 1920s, when the kids were getting rickets, okay, they're getting rickets because they didn't have enough vitamin D, they would begin to add vitamin D to the baby formulas. And they also put vitamin D3 into milk. You go there to the store, and right on the label it says vitamin D3 added. Okay. And so that was an attempt to fix that problem. And they were thinking correctly, but it was a minimum approach.
Okay, so what would you do to help raise vitamin D levels? She is 162 pounds at 5'9", Dr. Wallach.
Okay, well, she needs to get rid of all the bad foods, no fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, brown oats, no buckwheat, no carbonated drinks, no sugar. And get a hold of that book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods, 300 pages of safe recipes and cooking methods. Okay. And it also has the good food, bad food list in it. Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. And then she needs to take again, at 162 pounds?
Yes.
Yeah, 162 pounds. Yeah, I want her to take 2 healthy brain and heart packs per month, full dosing twice a day, 2 bottles a month of the MSM, so you can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time to support and promote maintenance repair, cartilage, ligaments, tendons, connective tissue, discs between the vertebrae, bone makes bone itself, including bone marrow. Okay, most people never get to see their bone marrow, and it's a very important part of their body physiology. And but also she needs to be taking the collagen peptides, take a scoop of that with her morning drink, scoop of the evening drink, collagen from 4 different species of animals. Then she also needs vitamin D3, take 3 of those at least twice a day, 3 twice a day, the vitamin D3 capsules. And the pain in the joints will go away very quickly. Okay. How long does she have to do this? Forever. Okay. You need these nutrients 2 or 3 times a day for the rest of your life. Okay. You can't just say, well, I'll do it on Christmas only. You're not going to be in good shape. Okay. This has to be a maximum intake 2 or 3 times a day. Okay. Because you're eating food that interfere with absorption and all that kind of stuff. So you want to make sure it's getting through and into the tissues where it's going to do some good. You'll see some benefit. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Wallach. And folks, you can find Dr. Wallach's books at drjwallach.com. That is drjwallach.com. And Dr. Wallach, of all of your books, which one would you recommend if you were to pick one and somebody has questions in regards to bone health? Which one would you pick? What would be your first pick?
Well, let's see. There's 3, and one would be, let's see here, Rare Earths Forbidden Cures, Chapter 10. Okay. The other one would be Epigenetics, the osteoporosis and arthritis. And the other one would be Dead Doctors Don't Lie. There you go.
There you go. All right. Thank you so much for that.
Those 3 books will give you a college education. Those 3 books will give you a college education.
Dr. Wallach, I've had a lot of college, and I'm going to be upfront and honest with you right now. I have learned more about the body and health and nutrition just working with you than I ever did in college.
Yeah,
so,
well,
and I,
thank you for that feedback. And of course, but you're a responsible person and you're doing a lot of reading because you had access to those books and things. And those books represent an enormous amount of research in addition to what is taught in classes. Because what is taught in classes is sort of basic stuff, which is good, but there's a lot more involved than just the basic stuff, okay, as you're learning.
Yes, and I'm going to kind of let the cat out of the bag a little bit, Dr. Wallach. So folks, we have been approached to actually include Dr. Wallach in curriculum, and we're putting curriculum together to be taught in colleges and universities. So that is something that I'm super excited about, Dr. Wallach. It's about time that your books are being used for required reading and even textbooks at the college level. So that is a project that we are working on in addition to others. So I'm looking forward to being able to announce that as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for, keeping me working 24 hours a day, 9 days a week. Well, folks, you're listening to dailywithdoc.com. If you are watching the replay or you are watching a live stream and you'd like to join us anytime live, we are here Monday through Friday from 12 to 12:50 p.m. Pacific time by going to dailywithdoczoom.com. That is dailywithdoczoom.com. And I invite you to go to our website, dailywithdoc.com, sign up for our newsletter that puts you on our list so that we can send you replays or the links to the replays with descriptions from the previous week. It also includes the invitation to our program so that if you want to join us either via computer, via phone, it has that information in the email that will come to you as well. And if you have a question that you would like to submit, which is how I'm getting some of these questions, you're welcome to submit your question there as well. So Dr. Wallach, let's go up to Marilyn, who has a question for a client. Marilyn, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yes, hello everybody. Yes, I actually had someone write in to the show, comment, and they wanted to know about herbs. They said, can we take things like shilajit, I think it's called, black seed, sour sop tea, apricot seeds, and they have a tea, aceic tea, in addition to the supplements they're taking?
Okay. Well, if you look at our education brochure, okay, you're looking at our education brochure, okay, it has some of these books, okay, that Rebecca's talking about, but it also has, I believe it's close to 100 CDs and DVDs, okay, going into all the herbs that we have done research on and use. We use herbs. If you look at we have 3,000 products. Okay, we have 3,000 products, including herbs. A couple hundred of them are herbs. Herbs go back to the early Bible days. Okay, and they realized that some herbs could relieve pain. They realized that some herbs could help you sleep better. Some herbs could help you be stronger, and so forth. And so herbs go way, way back. And it's one of those things where they're still useful. But like everything else, herbs tend to be like medicine. They relieve symptoms and pain. For instance, if you use an herb for joint pain, is it going to rebuild the joint? No. Okay, instead of aspirin, it's an herb to relieve joint pain. And so you have to understand what that herb is, the good Lord designed it for. Okay. Herbs don't take the place of all nutrients and this and the other, because herbs, their functions rarely provide nutrition. They usually provide relief of symptoms.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know you have that book, Let's Play Herbal Doctor.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for that question, Marilyn. That is a great one. And Let's Play Herbal Doctor. I've got that right here too. Let me go ahead and put spotlight myself. There we go.
There you
So,
go.
Herbal Doctor, this was actually one of the first books that I bought, Dr. Wallach, because as an herbalist, it like caught my attention. I'm like, what? I don't have that book in my library. So this was actually one of the first books that I bought whenever I first heard about you. This one, and then The Dead Doctors Don't Lie. Those were my first two books. But my favorite book, Dr. Wallach, is the Epigenetics, because that's the one that gave me hope that all the things that I was told were genetic, I would have to live with the rest of my life. And we have proven that to be incorrect.
That is correct.
Just like the name says, Death of the Genetic Theory of Disease Transmission.
Yeah, that book is actually an abstract of the original thesis I did on 20,000 autopsies, NIH study at Washington University in St. Louis, 20,000 autopsies. And I showed that there were no genetically transmitted diseases. And that book is in the Smithsonian Institute as a national treasure. I'm so proud of that. But they sell for $25,000 to $35,000 each. So that's why we came up with the book Epigenetics. And I didn't realize it was going to become a science, but we wanted to get that information out so people would have. So it's only $25, not 25,000, but $25. Epigenetics, you're getting all the information that's in the $25,000 book.
Well, and these two books right here, Dr. Wallach, are the two that we're focusing on as being the first textbooks that are going to be offered in the project that we're working on. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah, see, you surprised me. I didn't even know about that project. Thank you.
I told you about it a while ago. You just keep me so busy, I don't have time to make it happen. So after this project is done, then this is one of the next ones, Doc. It's about time. Well, Dr. Wallach, the next question that I have is coming in from Tammy. And she says, we have a male friend, 46 years old, 235 pounds. He's a recovering drug user, hard drugs. He says his brain feels like it's on fire. His head feels swollen and he can't sleep. What would you recommend, Dr. Wallach? She does mention that he does not have a blood sugar issue. He is a smoker, and his blood pressure is a little elevated, but he's not on medications for it.
Okay. Do we know how many times he wakes up at night to urinate? Once, 3 times, 5 times?
Don't know that. We don't
need
know
to ask
that.
that question because the odds are he's got let's see, the odds are he has osteoporosis of the skull, causing this thing going on in the brain and skull. Okay. And so when you look at the brain, the spinal cord, and the diseases that go along with that, Alzheimer's disease, MS, multiple sclerosis, Guillain-Barré syndrome, Parkinson's disease, which we believe we have found the cause, prevention, and cure for Parkinson's disease. A case report is at the certified health coaches. You can get a hold of a copy of that. It's a case report on, there's one case, a lady by the name of Madeline, who was diagnosed by Rush Medical Center, okay, 11 years in a row. And we have the stack of the annual physicals that say Parkinson's. Well, we gave her in 2.5 months our program for these things for rebuilding the myelin in the brain and the spinal cord and so forth. And when she went for her 12th year annual physical, they couldn't find Parkinson's disease anymore. And so that's where we did the case report, because it wasn't a study on 50 people or 100 people. It was just a case report of a gal that came to us after suffering for 11 years unnecessarily. And so at any rate, Parkinson's disease, frontal temporal dementia, Creutzfeldt-Jacobs disease, ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease, all of these are diseases of the myelin, the white matter of the brain. Okay. And so that's why we have the I-26 to go along with the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack. The I-26 can rebuild that myelin. And this is what we did for Madeline when she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, not Alzheimer's disease, but Parkinson's disease. And she just recovered very nicely. And this is going to be a big story coming out here pretty soon with Madeline. We're very excited about that. And we have all the information. We have enough stuff here to provide it to the world. Okay. We want to eliminate Parkinson's disease. We want to eliminate Alzheimer's disease. They're all, and the reason it's the same deficiency, it's the same pathology. When you look under the microscope, same pathology. It's just random bad luck. What part of the brain and spinal cord is being affected, what disease you get.
Well, and I totally understand that, Dr. Wallach. But going back to Tammy's friend, do you think that the drug use had any type of effect in harming the brain that would be causing that? And I can understand also, when you're doing drugs, you're not taking in nutrition. So what you're saying is absolutely be impacting that as well.
Yes, and so got to get rid of all the bad foods. Got to take, eat well. Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods book. Good food, bad food recipes. And then need the Healthy Brain and Heart Pack, 230 pounds, 235 pounds, whatever it is. 2 Healthy Brain and Heart Packs, a full of thing twice a day. 2 bottles a month of the MSMs. You can take 3 at breakfast, 3 at lunch, 3 at dinner time. 2 canisters of the collagen peptides, a scoop of that with the morning drink, with the evening drink. And then again, we need to be taking the collagen
I-26 or
I-26.
collagen?
There you go. The I-26.
Okay.
You got it.
Yeah.
I-26. I-26 will rebuild the myelin. And all these diseases, remember, the same pathology, the same tissue, okay, the myelin, the brain and spinal cord, it's just bad luck which part of the anatomy is more affected, which disease you get. Okay, but it's all reversible. I-26 plus all the other nutrients we just discussed. It wouldn't hurt to throw in the Ultimate Daily Classic tablets for circulation. And don't forget the rebound or sports drink instead of soft drinks and that kind of stuff, instead of carbonated water. Don't forget the rebound. And it's another source of 75 minerals. Red Bull only has 1 mineral, magnesium. We have 75 minerals. Which is better for you, 75 minerals or 1 mineral? Okay.
I'm gonna go with more is better, Doc.
And when it
Yeah.
comes to nutrition, more is better.
Yes. Well, I promised that I would get you out of here at 12:50. So let's see if we can squeeze in 2 more questions. Sherry, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Hello, thank you so much. We have a question that has come in. If a person does not have a spleen or a gallbladder, what should they eat and what supplement should they take? No weight, no height.
Okay. Well, the first thing you need to do is get the book, Dr. Wallach's Cooking Without the Bad Foods. Okay. Get rid of all the bad foods. No fried foods, no processed meats, no oils, no gluten, no wheat, butter, and oats, no buckwheat, no sugar, no carbonated drinks. Even the diet drinks and carbonated water need to go. And then they need, per 100 pounds of body weight, they need 1 healthy brain and heart pack. Okay. And since they had the gallbladder removed, doctors are just doing something because they didn't know what it was. Okay. They're just doing something. And so this is why we have the ultimate enzymes. I could take 2 or 3 of those, say 5 or 10 minutes for each meal. The ultimate enzymes. We call it the gallbladder in a bottle. It replaces the gallbladder that the doctors unnecessarily removed. Okay. And so go there and let's see, what was the other one? Spleen. That's, the spleen helps with the blood. It helps with supports your immune system. Okay. And so, go with what we just said. And if you want to, again, the rebound or sports drink, that's going to help with more nutrients. That helps the immune system. And, give us a call on this individual every couple of weeks and let us know what's going on. So this is
Thank you so much.
You bet.
All right. Thank you, Sherry and Dr. Wallach. Charlotte is writing in regards to 3 children, ages 21 months, 23 months, and 5 years old. Weights are 38 pounds, 28 pounds, 22 pounds, and they each have a severe case of hand, foot, and mouth. What is hand, foot, and mouth for our listeners, and what would you recommend?
Hand, foot, and mouth. You got me, but it sounds like
it's a viral infection, Dr. Wallach, and you get sores and blisters on the hands, on the feet, inside the mouth. It's very painful. My little guy had it probably, goodness, 8 years ago, maybe.
Okay, I only got seconds here, so get rid of the bad stuff. Okay, get them on
Kids toddy.
Yeah, the kids toddy at least once a day, but maybe twice a day. Kids toddy. Don't forget the EFAs. Don't forget the EFAs. And then I would also, if they had pain in their hands and feet and neck and back, use the CM cream. But also, you need the colloidal silver. If there's viruses and bacteria and fungus involved, colloidal silver. Remember, I'm a veterinarian. When you talk about foot and mouth disease, that's a totally different story. Okay. And so this is where the colloidal silver comes in because it has no alcohol and it won't burn and it does kill bugs. Okay. And then if they have things going on in their skin, rashes and blisters and all kinds of stuff, don't forget the hair, skin, and nails. They go ahead and take a couple of those 2 or 3 times a day. All right.
Well, were there only 20
well, you
to
open
30
them up,
pounds?
You open them up and you put in some applesauce. This is not difficult.
Okay. So they can have a full 100-pound dose at that age?
Yes,
because
of
that
course.
what 2 is. Okay. Just double checking, Doc. All right. And then spraying colloidal silver on the skin topically, would that be beneficial?
Absolutely. Orally for the dropper, and then
Mhm.
also, just follow the directions for the dosage. But you can, as you say, just spray it right over even if the wounds are open, it won't burn because there's no alcohol in it.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Wallach. And I know that you have to get to your next program. Thank you so much for joining us here on Daily with Doc. God bless you, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. Thank
All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And yes, I did promise Doc that I would get him out of here 10 minutes prior. So, because he does have another program to get you on to. And if I could get my co-hosts on the screen with me, I would greatly appreciate it. I could not do this without them, as they're fielding the questions that are coming in to the Zoom here in the Zoom room with us, out on the different social platforms and emails and text messages. Folks, we are truly blessed with people who are finally waking up and wanting to know what they can do on their own to not mask symptoms with chemicals, but actually give their body what it needs so that it can have a fighting chance to be the best that it absolutely can be. Thank you so much, Marilyn, for your questions that you bring in, as well as all the typing that you are doing in the chat and making sure that the dictation is there so people can see clearly in black and white what it is that Dr. Wallach is recommending, including the correct spellings, folks. So you do a fantastic job at that, Marilyn. Thank you. And Sherry, thank you so much also for fielding in those questions, helping let people in, monitoring all the things that you do. I greatly appreciate you as well. And Albert, doing the same from way down south in South Africa. With his, I call him, Jeffrey the giraffe, or this giraffe, folks, is massive. I've seen so many videos of him. It's just unbelievable, right in your own front yard. But folks, no matter where you are, nutrition helps. And when it comes to nutrients helping, we've got AJ, who is Nutrients Help, my assistant to the production manager, who helps make sure everything is connected, gets all the descriptions in, makes sure that all of the hashtags are there so that when people are looking, they will find us. So thank you so much, AJ, for all that you do. And, we want to thank Ruth Ellen because she trained him how to do it. And while she's on her vacation, we just want to make sure that she doesn't have to worry about a thing. And yes, folks, she will be back shortly. So thank you, everybody, for investing time in yourself, in joining us. Make sure that you share this program with others. There is somebody out there that is hurting and searching, and you sharing this information will help them find some solutions that they may never seen before. So we want to make sure that you are doing your part, because you're not here by accident. I don't believe in any coincidences. You're here for a purpose. And we want to thank you for sharing our program with others, as we have a giveaway that is going on. Go to dwdgiveaway.com. That's DWD, like Daily with Doc, just short. dwdgiveaway.com. Register for the giveaway, but there's a part that's not just click all the different platforms. You actually have to go out to the platform and follow or subscribe on that platform in order to get the actual points for the competition. So we do verify those things. And if we're not able to verify that you have actually completed the different steps, then we go to the next person, when we're looking at the rankings of the rewards points. So thank you again for joining us here. Get back with the person that shared this program with you. If there's nobody to thank, I give you a personal invitation to give us a call at 855-949-3377 or go to our website, dailywithdoc.com. Use the contact option and you'll be able to reach out to us and we'll get you hooked up with a certified holistic health coach to help you figure out what is the best protocol to reach your health goals. And folks, we have a store on our website also. Click on shop and you will find all of the products that Dr. Wallach recommends in our store that'll help you. So you give the body what it needs, the body can do some amazing things, folks. The products themselves, they don't do anything but nutrient the body and give the raw ingredients that the body then can do what it's designed to do. Until next time, my name is Becca Dix. Bye for now.
Peace. you.